Rev up your engines! Okay, I've returned to my roots, the beginning of Scotty Kilmer. No, not the Devil's Hole. No, here, this used to be Kilmer's Texaco gas station. You can tell by the curve here. See the curve on the top? That's where the curved glass window was, and it used to have bathrooms in the side here. You can see right here. What happened to my BSA motorcycle? What happened to the garage? Well, America's becoming gentrified, and this is part of it. Closely, you can see the cinder blocks. Up there, it used to say Kilmer's Texaco. The baseboard's still there. And this used to be where we washed cars. And over there, there was a lift. There's still the door that went into the office. But there's nobody in there. And we used to have an asphalt parking lot. Now it's all concrete. They've raised it up and they added a drain. That drain was never there either. Grandpa's Pet Emporium wasn't there. That's a new building. And next door, there was Bradshaw's, another gas station. Check it out. And I'm not kidding you. It's now an art gallery. Yes, people, I'm not making this stuff up. This is what happens to small towns. This is the village of Lewiston, New York. Ages ago, that building was a bank. Now you can see there's bake shops, an insurance company, a restaurant, another restaurant. Apple Granny? Center Street's been paved over. Way down there, that goes into the Niagara River, where they recently rescued a strange woman on a homemade raft who was attempting to escape to Toronto, I guess, but the Coast Guard had to rescue her. I guess things never change. When I was a kid here, there's a guy who used to hang out at the gas station. Everybody called him Curly, like Curly and the Three Stooges. He kind of acted like that. And, you know, he wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed, to say the least. There's still people like that around here. Well, I guess unless I get into a time machine, I'm not going to be doing any garage work here anymore. This is coming, the future. What do they say, you can't go home again? Well, it's not true. You can go home again, but your home's going to look a lot different probably than it did when you were there. But believe it or not, my father planted these bushes. Now, they don't seem to be doing all that well, but they're still somewhat alive. And I have to say, the engineers knew what they were doing, because we used to get flooding all the time. You can see the whole thing's been raised up in the air now. And truthfully, it would have been nice to have that overhang to work on. I'd be slaving away in the hot sun here in the summer. You might think it doesn't get that hot in Lewiston, New York. Well, we had a thermometer outside. You're supposed to have them inside, right? We had them outside, and it was under the hot black asphalt. Sometimes it would read 120 degrees in the sun. Now, my uncle's old house is still here, bud. Even it's turned into an antique store. It makes me feel like an antique. And the old restaurant we used to eat in, it's now a plant shop. Gee, that's kind of going against the way things are evolving. You'd think it would turn into a restaurant, but it went from a restaurant to a plant shop. And realize things aren't what they seem. They make it look like it's old, but it wasn't here then. Even though it was one of those goofy old chairs for tourists, if you look closely, check it out. The building is old. Look at the cellar. It's made out of local stone. And the bricks, they're old-fashioned bricks. Well, a lot of them are. And the old bank, that's how they used to lift things in. They had a pulley system to pull stuff in. Well, look what it's turned into, an insurance agency. Well, that's pretty close to a bank anyway. And the old Frontier House is still here. They claim that this is where the cocktail was invented. You can say it could do with a paint job. And so I'll say adieu to the birthplace of Scotty Kilmer, mechanic, where I started here when I was 14 years old. My grandfather's gone, my father's gone, my brother's gone, but I'm still at it. And as anyone with half a brain realizes, the day of the corner gas station is long gone, where there's old-timey mechanics who knew what they were doing. They're now either restaurants, boutiques, art galleries like the one next door, or they've disappeared entirely. But speaking of not disappearing, the old Matrix is working fine on the trip. It only has one problem. You have to fill it up every once in a while with gasoline. So far I had to fill it up twice. Unlike my old BSA motorcycle that had a 1.5 gallon gas tank, you had to fill that stuff up an awful lot. And I might be getting old. Heck, look what I got in the back now. A walker. Old Scotty isn't what he used to be. Actually, that's from my 94-year-old mother, who's presently resting at the hotel. You can see that the seagulls in Niagara Falls have pooped on top of the car. If you ever visit Cave of the Winds, make sure you bring yourself a hat. There's thousands of seagulls there, and they crap on everything. There's a bit more history. I'm staying at the Red Coach Inn, right by the falls. It's right over there. It's got a little history. My Uncle Billy, who never got married, used to come here. He lived in Medina, New York on a farm. When he came into Niagara Falls to visit, he stayed in this inn. The inn's still here. It's 98 years old. Uncle Billy's long gone, but old Uncle Billy was ahead of his time. Sometimes Uncle Billy came here with women. Sometimes he came here with men. He was definitely ahead of his time. We're staying in the Bristol room. As you can see, it looks like England. He even had the same wallpaper in his room. What's that? It's an English riding horn. Check it out. Well, at least the falls is still exactly the same. Some things change, some things remain the same. And in that vein, I'm gonna stay the same. I'm just gonna be helping you out with your car problems while I'm in Rhode Island. All you Easterners, come visit me with your cars. Totally happy to check them out for free. I'll just be down the road from you. The East Coast is kind of small. I'm just stopping in Niagara Falls for a pit stop. But I'll be in Rhode Island in a couple of days. Unless I decide to take a dip in the water here. Seems rather inviting to me. Well, the falls is still here. And so am I, so stay tuned. And here's some bonus questions and answers. Raphael says, Scotty, what do you think of a Nissan Cube? 100,000 kilometers, 6-speed manual transmission, 2010. All right, I think Nissan Cubes are some of the ugliest vehicles ever made, but, you know, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Some people like cubes, right? The vehicle itself isn't bad mechanically, except for the horrendous Jatco automatic transmissions. That has a 6-speed manual transmissions that really do not have problems. So they are not bad vehicles. If you like cubes and you can get a good deal on one, go ahead and buy it. Yeah, but do have a mechanic like me check it out to make sure the engine's still in good shape. Transmission, you can tell yourself. You drive it and shift it. If it doesn't slip and it goes in gears and doesn't clunk and doesn't pop out of gear, it's fine. Corey Mail says, afternoon, Scotty, will cleaning the shift solenoids fix first the second automatic transmission slip in a 2002 Honda Accord 4-cylinder? I doubt it. Those were relatively weak and it's probably worn out. Cleaning them, I doubt it. The only thing that I advise you do is take out like a quart of the fluid and put in a quart of the Lucas transmission slip fix. Sometimes that helps. And if it does, great. If not, it means it's going out. And let me tell you, if you want to rebuild the transmission in that Honda Accord, even though it's an 02, be prepared to spend $3 to $5 grand to do it correctly. That's what it costs to do it correctly. They're not cheap to fix. They're very complex. You might think about another car rather than putting that kind of money into a 19-year-old Honda. Always use your head. Don't put too much money in a car that you'll never see back. Stephen King says, Scotty, how do I know if I need a front-end alignment? Very good question. If it's really bad, when you're going down the road and let go of the wheel, it'll pull badly to one side or the other. Or you're going down the road, it'll shake and shimmy. Or if you look at your tires and instead of being round, they're scalloped or they have uneven wear on the inside or the outside, then you know the alignment is off. Modern cars, unfortunately, have very little adjustments. When I was a young mechanic, there were 4 different adjustments you can do. Now there's only toe in and toe out. That's just about it. So you can't really adjust if you hit a curb and bend something. You got to replace the bend parts. You can't adjust them to compensate for the bend because they're not made that way anymore. But that's the main reason. If you're not having any problems, doesn't shake, pull, your tires don't wear out, leave it alone, because you go to a front end shop, not only going to sell you that, they're going to sell you all kinds of parts. That's just how those guys go. They often charge you a bunch of stuff you don't need unless you got a real good front end man like me who's honest and doesn't care about ripping his customers off and wants to keep them happy and be honest. A lot of alignment shops are very dishonest because people don't come in all that often, so when they do, they try to gouge each one. Marshall Murphy says, I got a car that has a big old rock chip in the front plastic bumper, but I noticed the paint around the chip has spiderweb cracks, so I'm not sure what to do. I know I can live with it, but I like the car. Dread the thought of sanding it, priming and painting it. Well, if you want it done right, unfortunately, that's the only way to do it. Because if it's got spider cracks, here's the problem with plastic bumpers. They flex a lot more than metal ones, right? In the sun, they're even going to flex more. So if they're not painted perfectly, they're going to crack. And if you just dab over the top that's cracking, it's going to continue to crack in the heat of the sun. That's the big disadvantage of plastic bumpers. They can flex when you hit things, so damage isn't done, but then the paint goes. Plus, you'll never match the paint of the car. You can give the year of the car, but I've never seen them match. The bumpers were different colors than the rest of the car because they'd been repainted from being hit and cracked, and they never looked exactly the same. If you don't care, you might try sanding down that certain area and painting it over and seeing how good you can make it look. But if you're a fanatic, you're not going to be happy. And the only thing that's going to make you really happy is have the whole thing repainted. Or if it's cracked and broken, just give up. Those plastic bumpers can be bought for almost nothing aftermarket for most cars, 50, 60 bucks, and then pay a guy to paint it. But like I say, it's never going to match your car. Never. I've never seen anybody match them perfectly. And it has to be painted with the bumper paint. You don't use the same paint you use on the metal car. It's a different paint because it has to adhere to the plastic. It has special bonding agents in it. It's a completely different deal. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.